Hey everybody, welcome back to the video blog. I apologize that I have not been doing a great job with the video blog over the last week or so because I was sick as a dog, and I hope you don't get this cold that's going around, because it's not so much the cough, the nose, whatever, it's you have zero energy. So I barely struggled last week to get some of the reviews done and some of the stories I have to write for the newspaper, but I had absolutely no energy to do my video blog. So for that, I apologize, but here we are getting set. And you can still hear I have a bit of a cold. So anyway, let's get into it. Had lots of people sending lots of tweets. And once again, that's how I want you to get in touch with me, is at Twitter. It's Driving with Zach. Please sign up. We've had I think 200-300 new Twitter followers, which is fantastic. You're going to get updates on when the new videos are released. You're going to get updates when new reviews are posted to YouTube and what have you. And it's a great way if you need some information to get back and forth. Also, a lot of people are really using the new Facebook account I just set up. It's a Motormouth Canada. So go over to Facebook and click a like on that. Getting a lot of people watching the videos and things I put up there. So one thing I want to talk about right away. A couple weeks ago, I had somebody tweet, and I did an answer here on the questions and answers about the new Toyota Tacoma. The person basically was asking, is there going to be a new Toyota Tacoma coming? And at that time, I had just had lunch with the Toyota people here for a Christmas kind of get together, and I asked them and they didn't answer. Well, sure enough, about a week or so later, an email comes across and it says that the new Toyota Tacoma is going to be unveiled at the Detroit Auto Show, which is almost exactly in a month from now. So yes, there is a new Tacoma coming, and yes, you're going to be able to see it very, very soon. So let's get to more of the Twitter questions. This first person has been very active with me. His Twitter handle is called The Truth. And he says, please answer my question. He sent me a lot of these. Your thoughts on the 2007 BMW 335 with 107,000 kilometers. That's roughly 60,000 miles. Reliability, resale, worth modding. Thanks a lot. So that's Dave Dunn who sent that along. Well, here's the thing about any car. Now we're talking about a 6, almost 7-year-old car. Any car that is that old, you have to get a third-party inspection done. So if a dealer is selling it, take it to a separate dealer and have them inspect it, and only they show you the report on the car. So any car, when it's a certain, well, any used car for that matter, you're paying for the history of the maintenance, you're paying for the shape the car is in, and of course mileage and things like that. But there's no way to find that out unless you get it fully inspected. So 107,000 kilometers on a 2007 BMW, you could start heading into that expensive part of the car's life. Now, I've owned 5 BMWs, and I'm here to tell you, these are wonderful, wonderful cars, but they can be very, very expensive. I just had coffee with my neighbor. He has a BMW, maybe a couple of years older than this, and it's costing him every time it needs repaired about $1,500. It's out of warranty, and he's had enough, and he says, I want away from this car. I love the car, I just can't keep up with all of the repairs. So be forewarned with BMWs. Once they get to a certain age, they seem to have constant repairs that need done. Now with the 335 specifically, it's very early days of the inline twin turbo 6-cylinder. Now that very first one was the engine to get, because it had a twin turbo and not what's called a twin scroll. But there were some more maintenance issues. My best advice to anybody that's looking for a specialty car like this is to go to like a BMW forum. I think it's bimmer.org. You can read what other 2007 335 owners have had problems with. There were problems with the cooling system of the turbocharger. Many of them were fixed under warranty, but that's one area to look at. Bushings and suspension wear items are another known problem with BMWs at a certain era, but please get the car inspected. Next one comes from Mark H. He says, should I be concerned with GTI historical below average reliability? Still concerned with Mexico production versus Audi reliability? Well, I had a good long conversation with the person at Volkswagen about this. And Volkswagen, yes, has had slightly below industry average when it comes to problems with their vehicles. But he told me the internal metrics that they follow inside Volkswagen, which is how much it costs for them to pay out for warranty claims, keeps going down and down and down and down every year, which means the quality's coming up and up and up. And this new 7th generation Golf, I think, is fantastic. It just won Motor Trend Car of the Year, just won its class for AJAC. And I think that it's not going to be like buying a Toyota. But the one thing a lot of people don't realize is there's a satisfaction you get. And there's another study that comes out besides Consumer Reports and JD Power and things like that, is if you could buy your car again, would you? And the Volkswagen Golf rates right up at the very top in many of these studies. So what you might not be getting in reliability, you're certainly getting in satisfaction with owning the car and driving the car. Something you have to be aware of. If you're concerned about it, make sure you get an extended warranty and stay covered. And maybe when the car is out of warranty, that's time to trade it in and get a new one. Brandon Friesen writes, my uncle just bought a 2014 Mitsubishi GT. Do you think he made a mistake? Yes. No, just kidding. There's no problem with the Outlander. I do like the V6 Outlander over the 4-cylinder. The V6 is much smoother, more refined. The 4-cylinder feels a bit underpowered and kind of noisy. So if you bought the V6, and I think you did there, that's the one to get. Michael writes, hey Zach, what do you think of the new Jeep Renegade? I live in British Columbia looking for a balance between city and light off-road. Haven't driven the new Renegade yet. This is based on the Fiat 500L platform. I have been invited to go for the ride and drive event that's happening in January. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go. You know what? If you really want a vehicle that's going to do all of that for you and you're not sure about the Jeep Renegade, just go and get yourself a Subaru Forester. That's the perfect all-wheel drive vehicle for living in British Columbia's mountains and maybe doing some light off-road. Next comes Pete Harrower, considering purchasing a 215 228i. That's the new 2 Series. Would love your thoughts on the car as a whole, in particular, the options you'd spec. Couple of things about the 2 Series. Consumer Reports has the 2 Series as their second best tested vehicle. Number 1 is the Tesla Model S. Number 2 is the 2 Series. Another thing a lot of people don't realize is the 1 Series, which is what the 2 Series used to be called, has some of the highest resale value of any car in the marketplace, meaning it holds the highest percentage of the vehicle's worth. And that's something to consider. So I think it's a great choice. I've only driven the M235 with the 6-cylinder. I'm sure the 228 is fantastic as well. What I would consider, I like sport packages, things like that, wheel options. I don't like a lot of the advanced safety features. I turn a lot of them off when I get a lot of these cars. So really it comes down to your preference and your budget, but drive the car with the sport package and without, because there can be a real big difference there in the way the car drives. Drew Fish 2 says, dual clutch or manual versus performance economy, which would you choose personally? I'm a manual guy, but keep in mind, you know, I have a family vehicle that's an automatic, and whatever I had personally, I have a Porsche, would just be a fun kind of weekend car, which is not the same thing as driving a car every single day. So if it was me buying a car that was a fun car, it would be a manual. Now there's a whole new crop of young guys mostly coming in who haven't really driven manuals. I grew up with manual transmissions. That's why companies like Subaru are bringing out the WRX with an automatic transmission, because there's a whole group of people who don't even know how to drive with a manual transmission. But if you can learn that art of, you know, heel and toe downshifting, matching revs, you know, you're so connected to the car. Automatics now are quicker, they're more efficient, they're faster around a racetrack than a manual, but they're not as much fun. You know, I've had many Porsches that I've had as press cars, Turbo S's and what have you, and after a few days, this is the problem I have with a Nissan GT-R, it's boring after a couple of days because it's an automatic. What are you gonna do? Next one comes from Ilamana. I think I've had one from you before. Can you please tell me the list of safety issues that you'd like on new vehicles today? Don't like blind spot warning systems. Don't like, you know, a lot of the features with the lane keep assist that keep you in the lane and tug the wheel back and forth. The one I like, well, there's two I like, backup cameras and backup sensors. I take sensors over cameras because at nighttime and when it's snowing and it's raining, the cameras aren't that useful. The sensors always work. So backup sensors and forward collision mitigation systems, something that alerts you that you're not slowing down in time. And the better ones, like the EyeSight system from Subaru, and Volvo has it as well, are the ones that will actually jam the brakes on if you don't take any measures to prevent an accident. That is something that you don't realize you will utilize until you actually have it, because so many times you're looking down for something, a lot of times it's your phone, and people jam on the brakes and then all of a sudden you don't pay attention and the car stops for you. But a lot of those other features, when I get a car, I switch them off. Buzzing when you cross the line, I don't like them, but that's just me. Travis Ducalo, would you suggest undercoating or crown treatment for a new vehicle Ontario? What's it worth long term? I don't like the undercoating where they spray it on like that tar, that black stuff. Don't get that. There are two really good systems for preventing rust. One, in my opinion, is the best, is Rust Check, and Crown is very similar. Those are worthwhile if you're going to keep your car for a long period of time and you live in an area where you do get a lot of rust. For example, in parts of the prairies where they use a lot of grit on the road, you can get a lot of pitting underneath and you get rust in the wheel wells and things like that. But that Rust Check is the best, in my opinion. If you're only going to keep your car for 4, 5, 6 years, save your money, keep the car clean, and then move on. Kevin says, big fan of your show. Why are diesel prices higher compared to gas? And gas has plummeted, as we all know, over the last few weeks. Diesel has kind of stayed relatively high. It is floating down. Here's my prediction. In the long run, over the next 2-3 months, we're going to start to see diesel prices start to float down closer to gas prices. But one thing I always tell people, if you're looking at a diesel car and you're looking at the gasoline equivalent, for example, we'll pick a Mercedes SUV, the ML. If you're going to buy the diesel version and the gas version requires premium gas. And a lot of cars that are turbocharged or have high compression engines require premium fuel. So don't compare diesel prices to regular gas, compare diesel prices to premium fuel. And the gap isn't that much. Now, I'm going to end on this guy, Banana Chips on YouTube. He went on about my latest video, the Honda CR-V, and said, I really feel that your reviews are slipping lately. You didn't mention active collision mitigation, radar cruise control, and lane keep assist. And I already said to him back and forth on YouTube, I said, the video was already 10 minutes long. I had to cut a bunch of stuff out to get it shorter. And here's the one thing I want to know from you. Do you want to hear about lane keep assist, blind spot warning, collision mitigation systems? You want to hear about all that? Because typically it's only on the top trim levels of cars. And as I mentioned to you already, I switched most of them off. So let me know. And keep the questions coming. Ask them on Twitter at Driving with Zach. You can also go over to the Facebook page of Motormouth Canada. Thanks to everybody. I apologize once again for being tardy with this one. I was feeling crap last week. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But thanks to everybody, and keep the questions coming.